Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Fortune Tellers Wrestling Show. It is May 4th. May the 4th be with you. And I'm Trenton. No Eric with me this week, and we did not do a show last week, and I'll explain why. Well, first of all, I think it's pretty safe to say that Eric will not be doing shows with us weekly anymore because he does not have TV anymore. He cut his TV package, so he's not going to be watching Raw and Smackdown. Probably the wise decision in the long run to keep your sanity intact. And of course, right as I start recording, a train comes through my town. But I did not do the show last week, although I could have because I do solo shows a lot. But I could have. I didn't because I was just not feeling well. I was super tired. I was super beat last week. I was just not feeling it all, and I kind of regret it. I kind of regret not doing the show because a lot happened last week on Raw and SmackDown. I tried to highlight it in my thread on Twitter. I've been having lots of I'm never one to be particularly burnt out when it comes to WWE and wrestling in general because I love wrestling and I've been a fan of WWE since I was a child, and I've always loved it. I've always enjoyed it. I've always been a fan. But man, here lately, I've quite frankly, in the words of Vince McMahon, quite frankly, I've considered quitting watching Raw and SmackDown, and I'm sure I'm not the only one who's thought that. I'm sure many others have already quit watching before me, and I don't see, I mean, I say all the time I'm gonna like boycott the show and I'm just not gonna watch and fuck this show and it's over and it's done. And every time I do that, it ends up just being not happening at all. But I did do that with Crown Jewel, actually. I actually boycott that show, and I will continue to boycott the Saudi Arabia shows because it's just a load of shit. But yeah, after last week's Raw episode and SmackDown for that matter, to be honest, SmackDown's better than Raw, as I say all the time. But even with that, SmackDown even still has been kind of lame, if you will, kind of just there, kind of meh. And it was the Superstar Shakeup for the last 2 weeks, and looks like it's continuing. I mean, we could just get into it, but I'm sure I'll do a lot of ranting about the state of WWE, about my thoughts about this very show that you're listening to right now. Actually, I might give those thoughts at the end. I don't know how long this review is going to last. To be quite honest, probably not very long because Raw was just boring as hell and not entertaining at all. And there's really not a whole lot to say about Raw. Well, no, actually, that's false because I don't know. It's more of the same. And just, what's that old saying? The more things change, the more they stay the same. Well, boy, ain't that the truth when it comes to WWE. They promise change all the time, and I guess we'll just start right now. Raw, Monday Night Raw for April 29th. What was advertised for the show was the Universal Championship match contract signing between Seth Rollins and AJ Styles. And that was the main event, turns out. And I don't know what everybody else thinks about contract signing main events. Some people hate them because they're just kind of boring and nothing of substance really happens, you know. And also, what they advertised, all of the Money in the Bank participants will be revealed on Raw and SmackDown. That was advertised for both shows. So that's actually what the show started with, and I'll give my thoughts about this. The show starts. Alexa Bliss comes out. Alexa Bliss is, by the way, is the one announcing the entrance, because I guess Alexa Bliss is just, Alexa Bliss is as good as the general manager right now. She might as well just be the general manager. I don't know how she has the power to just make shit happen. She just says names and they're just in the match, and she's just, as we see later, she just declares herself into the women's Money in the Bank. So she comes out and she says, "Oh, there's going to be 2 ladder matches, one for the men, one for the women, and 4 entrants for Raw and 4 entrants for SmackDown." Which actually, I like that formula way more, because it used to be there was only 1 Money in the Bank and 4 on. Actually, it might have been only 6 people in Money in the Bank. Was it always 8? It might have been always 8. I can't remember, but it used to be 4 on Raw, 4 on SmackDown, and that's it. But then, since a couple years ago, not a couple years ago, but in like 2011, 2010, I want to say, they started having 2 Money in the Bank matches for Raw and SmackDown, and I didn't like that. Kind of like I'm actually a big fan of the Money in the Bank because it's surprising, and it can be very fun if done correctly. And of course, for the past like 2 to 3 years, it's kind of just been, not done right at all, in my opinion. Like, when Dean Ambrose won Money in the Bank in 2016, he cashed in the night of, and I don't like that, because just kind of defeats. I don't know. It's just kind of dumb when you cash in the night of. I don't like that. It's just, why even have the match if you're just gonna completely fucking, now I don't want to say nullify it the night of, but like, it kind of takes away like what the point of the match was if you're just gonna have the dude win the title that soon. 2017, obviously Corbin failed his cash-in, and I hate failed cash-ins, by the way, if I haven't made that clear. I actually hate failed cash-ins. It just makes no sense to me. Obviously, you gotta have it happen every once in a while, or else the thought of the dude winning the Money in the Bank just winning no matter what, it's like, well, he's gonna win the title next. You gotta have some failures in there. But like, as a general rule, I don't like failed cash-ins. And then in 2018, same, Braun Strowman won it and failed his cash-in. He didn't lose, but they just kind of cheated him out of his at that Hell in a Cell match, of course, last year in 2018, where Brock Lesnar interfered, and they just kind of stopped the match when that was the title match. And then, of course, who could forget the classic James Ellsworth winning the first ever women's Money in the Bank? So they had to redo the match on SmackDown like 2 weeks later. So I think this is the 4th women's Money in the Bank match. I think this is the 4th one now, because the first one was 2017, second one was 2 weeks later on SmackDown, third one was last year, and yeah, 4th one is this year. So this is the 4th women's Money in the Bank. And if I'm gonna be honest, SmackDown, I think, totally saved these matches, and I'll explain why. So she comes out, and she's just announcing. By the way, that's another problem I have with this. Alexa comes out. She says, the Raw superstars to be in the match are Braun Strowman. He won the contract last year. She gives like little brief descriptions of the stars in the match. Braun Strowman is in the match. He will compete again. Okay, whatever. I guess he has kind of a claim because he won the Andre the Giant Battle Royal. So I guess, if they want to say that and say, well, he kind of proved himself by winning that, at least that'll make the Andre the Giant Battle Royal mean a little bit, right? Which is something they fail doing all the time, every single year. Next up is Ricochet. He will be competing in the match, and up next, Drew McIntyre is the 3rd member of Raw to join the men's Money in the Bank ladder match. Drew McIntyre, and I'll go over my thoughts on the entrance, of course, after I'm done with this. And the last competitor for the Raw Money in the Bank match, or on the Raw side, I should say, for the men's Money in the Bank match, is Baron Corbin. Okay, so let's just go over these entrants one by one. So Braun Strowman, meh. I'm kind of meh about that. I don't think he needs to be in this match. I didn't even personally like when they gave the Money in the Bank to him last year. Ricochet, I'm cool with that. People were saying that. Well, actually, I'll just make that point after I'm done saying these last two. Drew McIntyre and Baron Corbin are the last two. Now, people were saying on Twitter, wins and losses don't matter anymore. Apparently, Ricochet lost last week clean, and he's put in this match. No mention of Robert Roode all over the show, at all on this show on Raw this week. Drew McIntyre continues to lose every single match he's in. That's an exaggeration, but he has not won shit, in my opinion. In this, he won the tag titles. Whoop-de-doo. That was also last year. And Baron Corbin especially. I'm still yet to see from anyone any single, besides beating Kurt Angle at WrestleMania. Okay, besides that, what has Baron Corbin done? And Drew McIntyre, for that matter, at least Ricochet. Ricochet was on a huge win streak, and he was pretty hot for a while. And I think his loss against Robert Roode last week on Raw was his first singles clean loss on the main roster. I think that was his first loss, since being called up. So you can at least make the argument that Ricochet has been doing really good, and he has a high win percentage. He has not lost a whole lot, is what I'm trying to say. He lost some tag team matches, sure, but I would argue that he's won more than he's lost. I'd have to go back and look, but I'm pretty sure he's won more matches than he's lost since getting called up, and it's not even close in my opinion. So Ricochet, I understand being in the match. He just fits the match perfectly anyways. You know, he's fucking Ricochet in a ladder match. Braun Strowman, meh. You know, I guess you can make a claim he can be in there, whatever. But Drew McIntyre and Baron Corbin, all they've done is lose. Corbin beat Angle at WrestleMania. Okay, whatever. So he beat Angle at WrestleMania, and then the night later got beat down by Kurt Angle. All right, well, wow. Okay, great. That did a whole lot for him. And then he just goes on to lose to the Shield over and over again. Same with Drew. It's funny how they did all those Shield reunions where Drew McIntyre was like, I beat the Shield, but then they just reunionize again and they beat down Drew McIntyre. So I legit can't even remember the last time Drew or Corbin won a match, besides the triple threat that Corbin won last week. That's it. So if you're going to try and tell me that Corbin deserves to be in this match based off of fluke winning a triple threat match last week, that was a number one contenders match for the number one contenders match, I don't buy it. In my opinion, Drew and Corbin have done jack shit to be in this match. So I was already annoyed at this point. This is the opening segment of the show. I'm spending way too much damn time about this opening segment. But this was the opening segment of the show. So they all do the business where they taunt each other and talk crap to each other, and I'm going to win at WrestleMania. Or WrestleMania, what the fuck am I talking about? I'm going to win at Money in the Bank, and I'm going to cash in, and this is my legacy, destiny, whatever they say. And, of course, they start brawling, you know. Of course, it all ends up in fights. So they go to commercial, they come back, and it's a tag team match. It's Baron Corbin and Drew McIntyre versus Braun Strowman and Ricochet. And, oh my gosh. Yet again, fucking Corbin and McIntyre teaming up again. Well, to be fair, at least it looks like this partnership is over. As I take a drink of water. It looks like this partnership's over, because in this match, it was a standard tag match. It was Ricochet sold the whole damn time, which I was not a fan of. Why the fuck would you make Ricochet, of all people, sell to Corbin chin locks the whole time? This was boring. I was sitting on my hands. I didn't care. I literally didn't care at all. I could not care less. Fucking... I don't know. I can't even remember what the finish was. All I remember is that Drew attacked Corbin after Corbin tagged himself in a bunch of times or whatever, which pissed off Drew. So Drew destroyed Corbin. He walked away. Ricochet hit a shooting star press, which looked great. That was the best part of the match, in my opinion. He had a great shooting star press on Corbin, pinned Corbin 1, 2, 3. Braun Strowman and Ricochet win the tag match. So, yeah, whatever. Up next, the Usos come out, and they're singing their theme songs as if they're R-Truth. And I think they've done this before, so it's not too new. But They're singing their theme songs, and then they get in the ring. Looks like it's about to cut to commercial. And then the Usos' music stops, and then Usos look confused. The music comes back on. Then they look even more confused. And then they start jiving around, whatever, doing, dancing, right? And then, like, I think the music stops again, and then it just never cuts to commercial. And then, just then the club come out. So it's the club versus the Usos. I guess the club are heel now. Oh, and by the way, club, no announcement that the club moved from SmackDown to Raw. Club are just on Raw now. No explanation, no announcement. The fans have to point that out, that they're just on Raw now. No explanation. I just don't even know what is happening. The club played heel the whole match. The club lost. Who gives a shit? The match was fine. The match was fine. It was the Usos versus Club. It's not going to be bad, you know? The match was fine. But that was 2 tag team matches in a row. First one being infinitely boring. Second one being okay. Jimmy Uso pinned Gallows. Pinned him. I already said that. With the splash. Got the 1, 2, 3. Usos win. Usos get on the mic. And they go, there's one tag team calling themselves the Top Guys. But we've got another side. Put your kids to sleep. Make sure your grandmother's eyes are closed and keep your throw up in your mouth. Check it out. So then they cut to the Titantron, and it's the Uso brothers backstage with, like, I guess their phone camera, supposedly. They're backstage. One of the Usos is like, yo, check this shit out. And the other one's, I guess, behind the camera. And they're, like, around the bathroom area. So they cut, so they peek into the bathroom area backstage. And their Revival are seemingly both naked. They both have towels on around their waists. And Dash Wilder is shaving Scott Dawson's back with cream and a razor, like not an electric razor, but like shaving cream and a regular razor, right? And of course, Usos are digging this. They're laughing their asses off, and Dash and Scott Dawson notice. They like go. He's like, "What the hell?" You know, and they chase him, and just this is the state of the Raw tag team division, everyone. We got the Usos, one of the best tag teams ever, in my opinion. Revival, one of the best tag teams on the planet, in my opinion. They should be setting the world on fire with their feud, and here they are, making a mockery out of the Revival, just to make a mockery out of the Revival. Low ratings. The show's hitting below 1 million viewers in the third hour. Record low ratings every single fucking week. And their priority is to just fucking shit on a team for the sake of shitting on a team. Do you know how much this angered me? Do you know how much it angered me to see that people actually enjoyed this shit? I was shocked. I can't believe people found this entertaining. I know entertainment's subjective, but I'm not... People compared this to when Christian and Chris Jericho were a tag team, and they got humiliated by the Dudleys, with like the jar of ice cream, and that was funny. And they got Spike Dudley grabbed the towels, and like they're both naked on the stage, so they run out naked. That at least, in my opinion, served a purpose. This, in my opinion, this Revival shaving each other's backs served no purpose. They did it just to shit on, just to try, just the principle of it. Just the principle of it. They did this just to shit on the Revival, just to try to humiliate them. No other reason. So, just, that should not be the fucking priority of your show, just to try and humiliate a team. Your priority should be to try and put on compelling stories, and this came the day apparently Revival reportedly rejected a 5-year 500K a year contract with WWE. And why the hell wouldn't they? If I were them, I would just wait until my contract rolls up, then I'm fucking outie, since WWE, especially with the situation with Luke Harper, which I might get into if I remember. So I bet you, if anything, they did this to them just because they rejected a contract. Wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised. It's WWE we're talking about. So Revival come out. They say, I can't reach my back because I'm so jacked. I asked my best friend of 20 plus years for a little help. Wilder's like, yeah, that's right. We shave each other's backs. What's wrong with that? And it turns out the majority of people on Twitter say, yeah, Revival are in the right. What's wrong with you're shaving your friend's back? There's nothing wrong with that. He's helping him out. What's wrong with that? And you know what? I kind of agree. You know, they're trying to humiliate somebody with something that actually isn't that humiliating. And just this whole thing. I thought the Usos were coming over to save this tag division. I guess I was wrong. I mean, I'm excited that they're going to be wrestling and stuff, but not if this is the shit they're going to be fucking doing with them. So, Revival says, we're done with you Usos for now. We have a match later tonight against Kurt Hawkins and Zack Ryder, the tag champs. When we're done, you better believe we're coming for you Usos. So, another repeat tag match that we've seen a billion times, it feels like, even though it hasn't been a billion times. But it feels like it. Another rematch, though. Revival versus Hawkins and Ryder later in the show. So, just, record low ratings, nothing's new, repeat matches over and over again, shaving backs for the sake of shaving backs. Uso say you're going to be put in the Uso penitentiary or whatever. So after that, Miz comes out. It's going to be Miz TV with Bobby Lashley. I thought, wow, I can't believe that they're actually going to have Bobby Lashley try to talk without Lio Rush, because Lio Rush has been in the news. Been in the news. He apparently he's got some, reportedly. Leo went on the record to say otherwise, but reportedly, I'm not saying anything, but reportedly, Lio Rush has some heat backstage, and he came out and said, "No, that's bullshit. I'm just trying to do what's best for my family, yada yada yada, whatever." Story about him not wanting to carry veterans' bags, show of disrespect, whatever. Mark Henry came out and said something about he's got a big ego or whatever for not wanting to respect the veterans, and I don't know what's true. I'll just leave it at that. I really don't have an opinion on this because I'm kind of indifferent about the whole situation. I don't know what's happening, but Lio Rush was left off this show. Bobby Lashley was by himself, which is actually a huge loss to Lashley, in my opinion. And funnily enough, commentary and Miz did not even mention Leo. Not once. They didn't even mention him. So, they're talking. Miz says some shit, but Bobby interrupts him. Bobby says, I've seen Miz TV before, and let me set some ground rules right now. I'm only going to answer the questions I want to answer. And Miz says, okay, whatever. Who the fuck cares about this segment? Miz says that he thinks Lashley is the perfect guest for Miz TV's return to Raw. And then he says he has the most raw, natural talent in all of WWE, but some folks think he has yet to put it all together. That's quite the compliment, to be honest. He says that people think Lashley hasn't reached his full potential, and Bobby says, I've been back in WWE for 1 year, and I'm already a 2-time Intercontinental Champion. What have you done, Miz? And that's kind of a stupid fucking question because Miz has done a shit ton of stuff. So of course, Miz touts all of his accomplishments. Bobby, just for some heat, I guess, brings up Shane McMahon beating up Miz's father. Miz beats down Lashley in a brawl. That sets up Bobby Lashley versus The Miz after commercial. This match is happening. This match was nothing, in my opinion. Miz was about to, I think, win, and Shane's music hit, which distracted Miz. Shane comes out. Shane gets on the apron, and Shane directs Miz to the fucking Titantron and shows a picture of Miz's father looking all distraught. And that distracts Miz enough to where Bobby hits the spear. Bobby picks up the win. Shane McMahon gets in the ring, and I swear, he delivers the slowest beatdown in history. It felt like slow motion. These punches he was punching Miz with were like the worst punches I have ever seen in my life. I don't get it. How is Shane McMahon enveloped in this business and he doesn't know how to throw a punch still? Oh, man. I know he's not a wrestler. Obviously, he's a wrestler because he wrestles quite often, actually, for a guy who doesn't wrestle every week. But so Shane puts him in like a triangle chokehold. Miz passes out. Shane says, "Remember this, Miz. I am the best in the world." Then he leaves. That felt like filler. Just fucking show. So, after that, we get more recaps because, of course, gotta fill that time somehow. God forbid you let everybody get some entrances and have the matches go a decent amount of time. No, you gotta have this filler recap shit, right? Because the show's 3 hours. The Viking Raiders come out because, of course, as I missed last week because I didn't do the show last week, the Viking Experience are no longer the Viking Experience. They are the Viking Raiders. And their finisher is still called the Viking Experience. They just couldn't help themselves. They had to keep the Viking Experience in some way, right? So, they're coming out. The Viking Raiders are coming out to face the Lucha House Party. They come out first. They make it their way to the ring, but Lucha House Party comes from behind and beats them down before the match starts. So I thought Lucha House Party were good guys. Turns out, I guess they're heels. I'm just saying that. They're probably still the faces, but that's a heel move. I don't know why they did this. Just because they got beat up last week? I don't know. This match was not fucking long at all. As if the Viking Raiders are going to have any problem with the Lucha House Party, right? So, they beat Lucha House Party. They hit the Viking Experience onto Kalisto. This match was whatever. It was filler. This was pretty much filler. Although I will say that, of course, the War Raiders offense always looks great, which did get a reaction out of the crowd. And I would say this crowd, I can't remember where they were in this crowd, but this crowd for the most part was actually okay in my opinion. I mean, I can't even believe it because this show was just so boring. I would have been silent the whole time, which I was watching at home. That was that match. Commentary hypes up Moment of Bliss after the commercial. Commercial comes back from commercial. Alexa sitting in her chair looking like a discount fucking Chelsea Handler. Imagine how far you've fallen if you look like a discount Chelsea Handler. That's sad. So she's just coming out to announce the participants because again, screw qualifiers. It's not like we have 2 or 3 weeks before Money in the Bank, right? Why can't we have some damn qualifying matches to fill in the shows? At least you could argue that, just qualifying matches, it's just whatever, it's just do for me. Well, at least something on the show would mean something. At least a match would matter. At least there would be stakes to a match. No match or no wins, no losses, doesn't even matter anymore. Nothing matters on this show. So at least if you had some qualifiers, you would have some matches to fill out the time before Money in the Bank pay-per-view. But no, they just announced. I don't know how they're going to fill in time now. They could have at least had some 4 qualifying matches over a span of 3 weeks. So they're just announcing them. I don't know what they're going to do before Money in the Bank because it's just going to be just nothing, I guess. So Alexa comes out. She's like the first participant in the first Raw participant for the women's Money in the Bank match is going to be Natalya. And I thought, meh. You know, like I like Natalia. I actually think she gets a lot more. I think Natalia gets a lot more hate than she deserves. I don't think she deserves a lot of the hate she gets. She's a good worker. She's been there forever. You could argue that she might be bland, but you know what? I still think she gets a lot of unwanted hate. That being said, I don't see what Natalia has done to deserve to be in this match. And by the way, well, I'll actually say that after this. Next person in the match. Next person. This is the part that gets a lot of people. Alexa says the second participant is Dana Brooke. Dana Brooke. Seemingly the Kurt Hawkins of the women's division is just put in this match. What's the explanation? I have no idea. This was the one that got everyone. This was the one where nobody expected it. Like, what? Dana Brooke? Did I read that right? So, up next, after that, the next participant from Raw, Naomi. Which actually, again, I still don't know what she's done to deserve this spot in the match, but you know what, whatever. And then Alexa says, the last person in this match for Raw, me. So Alexa just announces herself to be in the match. So Mike, all that's fine and dandy. You could argue, whatever. You could go on and on and on and on if you want. Why does Dana deserve to be in this match? Why does Natalia deserve to be in this match? Alexa, Naomi, whatever. Same, whatever. My only question is, what does it take to be in this match? You know? Like, what do you have to do? Nobody won. No, there were no qualifying matches unless they held qualifying matches on, like, house shows. But there were no qualifying matches. It was just Alexa herself. Does Alexa get to pick? Does Alexa get to choose who's in the match? Did Alexa pick Dana Brooke miraculously and Natalia and Naomi to be in this match? And herself? She just announced herself? Who put this match together is what I want to know. You could have at least had Stephanie, and you know what? Call me a hypocrite all you want. Would have made more sense, though, to have Stephanie come out and announce, because at least she's a position of authority. As far as I'm aware, Alexa is just some fucking chick on the roster. She's just a talk show host. What authority does she have to just announce herself for this match? And other people, for that matter. Who put the people in this match? But of course, the commentary is just like, oh, they're in the match. Can't I get some explanation? This is another reason I'm getting so burnt out on Raw and SmackDown. Nothing is explained. Things just happen. Things just happen. Nothing is explained. My intelligence is insulted. I have to do the thinking for them. I have no idea what's going on half the time. What the hell does it take to be put in this match? That's why I'm saying there should be qualifiers. Has there ever been a time there were not qualifying matches for Money in the Bank? Ever? As far as I know, I don't remember there just being no qualifiers. I don't remember there ever just being people announced. I'm sure there probably has been before, but I can't remember. This just irked the shit out of me. I was so done with this show already at this point. And it was just I just want things to be explained. Is that too much to ask? I put 5 hours of my life into Raw and SmackDown every single week. I watch live. I never miss an episode ever, unless I, legit can't see it if I have obligations. But if I'm not doing anything else, I watch Raw and SmackDown. I'm making a point to watch Raw and SmackDown. Is it too much to ask for things to be explained to me? What the hell is going on this damn show? So, Alexa announces herself for this match, and Naomi says that she can beat Alexa with her shoes on or off, and she doesn't think Alexa is as good as she says she is. So Alexa just agrees to this match. So it's Naomi versus Alexa after the break. Whoop-de-fucking-do. But then, before the match starts, we get another episode of the Firefly Funhouse. And I wish... This is another reason I wish I didn't miss the show last week. Because... and I did watch Raw and SmackDown last week. I just didn't do our show this show that I'm on right now last week. Because they announced Bray Wyatt finally his new character was unveiled. The Firefly Funhouse. It's like a kids show, right? It's like a weirded out. It's like our friend Don, who's been on the show before, said it was like Blue's Clues on meth, which, and I guess it's kind of true. So last week it was like an introduction episode. Bray Wyatt said he's done some bad things, hopes he can be forgiven. His guests are Abby the Witch. What was the name of the buzzard again? I can't remember. And I thought this was the damn best thing, on the entire show. I thought this, and last week for sure. Last week this was the best thing on the show, and this week it was the best thing on the show. So this week, Bray Wyatt, the Firefly Funhouse, is painting a pretty picture. He's got a little like painter's hat on. He's painting on a canvas, and he says he loves to paint. Painting is a way to express my suppressed feelings. And when you're expressing yourself, no one can ever truly hurt you. And out of nowhere, a rabbit pops up, like a fake rabbit. And like a toy plush rabbit, like a puppet. And the rabbit pops up, and Bray Wyatt refers to him as Rambling Rabbit. That's his name. And the rabbit asks if he can see the painting, and the Bray is like, "You want to see my painting?" And he turns the painting to him, and he turns it to all of us, and it's a picture of the Wyatt family house, the Wyatt family compound being burnt down with Sister Abigail inside. That was a nice detail. You could see Sister Abigail in the painting very closely, if you look very closely, which was a nice touch. Of course, Randy Orton burnt down the Wyatt family compound in 2017. So this is, I enjoy continuity. I love when things tie together and there's callbacks, We don't have enough of it anymore in WWE. So he shows everybody the painting. Abby the Witch says, "This is no time for games." Bray Wyatt tells the rabbit to get lost. And Abby the Witch says to Bray, "You've been a very bad boy." And he goes, "Please take it easy on me. It's all in the past. I'm really sorry for what I did. And you all can forgive me, right?" And the children in the background, the children who are watching the show, I guess, because it's supposed to resemble a kid's show. The kids cheer and they clap, and Abby the Witch, which is a porcelain doll, by the way, which people thought was originally Sister Abigail, but it's not. It's a different character, I guess. Excuse me as I take a drink. So, Bray walks around and says that Abby is a little bit of a sociopath. And Rambling Rabbit asks, "Is sociopath the word of the day?" And Wyatt says, "Yes, it is." And he spells out the word sociopath in fun, colorful, whatever lettering. And so this is a kids show. You know what? I actually saw some tweets during this that kids were watching this, right? Like children, like little kids. And like parents watching with their kids. It's like, "Oh, my child really loves the Firefly Funhouse." And I thought, uh-oh, that might not be very good for kids. The word of the day was sociopath. Last week he chainsawed a cardboard cutout of himself. So Bray Wyatt says, "That's all time for today. I bid you all farewell, and I'll light the way as long as you let me in." And that was the best thing on the show. I checked out for the whole show, but when this came on, I was so intrigued. I'm so glad that Bray Wyatt's back with this. I appreciate Bray Wyatt so much for making this show watchable. This is by far the best thing on the entire show. Creative, intriguing, wondering what's going to happen next. It's a breath of fresh air. I'm so glad. I can't believe people are against this, So after that, Alexa versus Naomi happens. This match was whatever. Highlight of the match was watching Alexa Bliss attempt to tie her shoes. Legit, no exaggeration, 4 or 5 times. She tied her shoes once, came undone. She tied her shoes again, came undone. And she was not even in her gear, by the way. She was like in her regular like Moment of Bliss attire, like just an outfit, not even wrestling gear, just like her outfit. So her shoes came untied like all the time, like the whole time, and this match was so boring, just nothing happened. It felt like it went on forever. So I hope Alexa Bliss's new gimmick is not that she is in fact the Raw interim general manager and she's gonna pull a Corbin and just wrestle in non-gear the whole time. So Naomi beat Alexa. I don't know why. Alexa squashed Bayley a couple weeks ago, but Naomi beats Alexa. Okay, whatever. So Naomi won. They cut backstage to Rey Mysterio and his son Dominic giving an interview about Samoa Joe. It's not easy living in the world of giants, but when I get knocked down, I get right back up. And I let my friends and family down at Mania, but I gotta move ahead. So that sets up Joe versus Rey tonight. Not tonight anymore, of course, but on the show. Becky Lynch comes out. This was another one of the few good things on the show, in my opinion. Becky Lynch comes out. She gets Becky 2 belts chance, of course. She says she beat Ronda and Charlotte. The whole spiel. They tell them to say more of the same shit like over and over again for some reason. Another problem with scripted promos is just that you get a lot of repeating lines and shit. She said, talking about Charlotte Flair and hyping up her 2 title matches at Money in the Bank. She's facing Lacey and Charlotte for the SmackDown and Raw titles in 2 different matches. So that's another thing I missed last week. She says Flair might have the pedigree, has her pedigree, but the man still has her number. And Lacey Evans, that plank, is a tremendous athlete with a great right hand, but she's making a mistake by punching someone who likes it. That sounded kinky, didn't it? So Lacey Evans comes out. She's got a microphone, and Lacey Evans says, it's just like a man to want what he wants when he wants it, and I can see that Irish temper bubbling up from down here. You're trying your best not to lose your manners, and I warned you, Becky, last week to not let your emotions get the best of you. And you didn't listen, so now I'm done talking. And I still maintain that Lacey's really good on the mic. You know, she's one of the few people that actually sounds interesting and unique on the mic. She's not. Even if she's given like, you know, I don't see her as the type of person to just cut a cookie cutter type of promo. You know, she's actually got a good look and she's charismatic in my opinion. So she says she's done talking. They go down to the ring. They start brawling all up and down the around the ring. The goofballs are out there. The referees, Jamie Noble, Adam Pearce, Finlay are out there trying to break this up as they always do. They start. Yeah, I thought this was fun. You know, like it was one of the more entertaining parts of the show, in my opinion. So I think during this brawl, I didn't see this until after it happened, but Becky Lynch during this brawl, when they were separated, yelled at Lacey, "Why don't you go make me a sandwich?" Which is funny because, you know, Lacey's gimmick is that she's a lady, and Becky's gimmick is that she's the man. You know, telling the lady to go make the man a sandwich. So that was funny. That was a good line. So yeah, they get finally separated. After that, it's Kurt Hawkins and Zack Ryder versus Revival in a tag match. You know, this match was whatever. It's what else are you gonna do? You knew the Revival weren't gonna win. So of course the Revival do not win. Ryder crucifix pinned Scott Dawson for the victory. So the gimmick, so I guess Zack and Hawkins' shtick now is that they just kind of squeak wins out, right? That's the best I got. Since I guess they're not established enough to just win outright, since Kurt Hawkins went on a 260 plus loss streak. I don't know. After that, Miz is interviewed, and he challenges Shane to a steel cage match at Money in the Bank. So, whatever. I'm over this feud, to be honest. It was, you know what? They got me intrigued with the Falls Count Anywhere match, at Mania. But I think I'm kind of done with this. The last thing Raw and SmackDown needs is more authority figures versus people, and exactly that's what's happening with Roman, and we'll get to that. I got a lot to say about that. So, damn, already 45 minutes in, I'm still not even done with the show. So here comes another thing that on paper should be a good segment, and isn't, in my opinion. Sami Zayn comes out. His new shtick is that he's going to hold all the fans accountable for what he's done. Or for what he's done, for what they've done, for what we, the fans, have done. He's going to hold us accountable for being the whiny, petulant, entitled, critiquing fans, right? So I guess kind of like me, right? Since I have my own show critiquing Raw and SmackDown and WWE in general. So, it's just, I could go on and on about what he said, but honest to God, he did a whole lot of talking, but he said a whole lot of words, but nothing much was said, is all I can say about this promo. A whole lot of words were spoken, but not much was said. He went on and on and on and on and on about how the fans are shit, this company sucks, why don't I just quit? Quitting WWE would be amazing. But you know what would be more amazing? Coming out here every single week, holding all of you accountable for your actions. So, just to clarify here, Sami Zayn is on record telling everybody that quitting the company would be great. Didn't he kind of bury WWE with this? Didn't he kind of just outright say, this company sucks, it's a prison? Excuse me. He says it's a prison, it's terrible. And he said it's a toxic prison, I believe is what he said. And just this promo felt like it was going on forever, and I just wanted it to end. We were like an hour and a half or 2 hours in. Excuse me, I keep sneezing. He just kept going on and on about how terrible we are. And I was like, come on, is there like a point to this? Or is there like a bigger picture? Like, what is your end game, bro? I'd rather watch Endgame during this damn show. I actually should have, to be honest. But you know what? Man, I'm gonna have to take Zyrtec or something. So, you know what? He cut his promo well. He did well. Sami Zayn, of course, is an awesome promo. And, you know what? I guess I can't complain too much, but it just felt like it went on forever. And on this show, we did not need that. So, after that, Shane McMahon accepted Miz's challenge. And steel cage match, Miz versus Shane at Money in the Bank is confirmed now. It's official. Samoa Joe comes out, makes his entrance. I thought they had a fine match. It was all right, Ray hit the 619. Or actually, I think Joe blocked it, but then he countered it with his patented chokehold. Son of a bitch, dude. This is probably incredibly, me sneezing is more entertaining than Raw and SmackDown, to be honest. Finish was Ray countered Uranage and pinned him with a folding press. So Ray wins. Ray wins the match. He goes up to Ray. Dominic comes out, and Dominic is way bigger than Ray, of course. Dominic towers over Ray, which is just a fun sight to see. And Dominic is actually training to become a wrestler. He's training with Lance Storm, I believe. He He's going to wrestling school at Lance Storm's school. So, CC, man, let this episode go down in history as the time I sweat my ass off during this, because it's very hot in my room. I can't turn my fan off because, excuse me, I can't turn my fan on because it's pointed towards my mic, and I don't want that to like blow into the mic, you know. So, and the time I sneeze my ass off. I prevented that one. So, this was the main event. It was the contract signing. Excuse me. It was the contract signing. They're both out. The Cole's in the ring. They have the table. They have the table out there. This was, in my opinion, this should not have been the main event. You know, they should really, really take the time to establish new stars and make, excuse me, make fun matches to watch, because this did not, I can't imagine why so many people tuned out of the third hour. A contract signing, excuse me, a contract signing as the main event. Like, this was the show that had, like, you know, how many? I think the official number was this third hour dipped under 2 million viewers in the ratings. This third hour dipped under 2 million. I think it was 1.8 million viewers. I could be wrong on that, but I think it was 1.8. So I can't imagine why, you know? You book a second and third hour so fucking horribly, where nothing matters except for the Firefly Fun. Except for the Firefly Funhouse. I should probably be muting my mic every time this happens, but I'm not quick enough. Also, my mute button doesn't always work for some reason. Yeah, so honest to God, Seth Rollins and AJ in a segment should be one of the better parts of the show, but it wasn't. It was just kind of if I prevented that one. It was just kind of there. It was just kind of meh, you know? Like, they were like, oh, I'm gonna burn it down, and AJ's like, oh, this is the house that AJ Styles built, and Raw. Actually, I think Styles made a good point when he said that Seth did everything he could to win. He didn't care whether it was well, he didn't say this exactly, but he didn't care whether it was clean or dirty, right? He'll do whatever it takes. And which is actually what people pointed out at after Rollins won the title, and how Rollins really isn't a face anymore. Is what people have said. And you know what? I could kind of see where they're coming from about how he low-blowed Brock and it wasn't clean at all. He just does whatever it takes to win. Shouldn't every champion do that when you think about it? You know, obviously you can hold out for moral turpitude, but you still do whatever it takes to win. You know, and this just kind of felt like it went on forever as well. The crowd was kind of silent. They start brawling, and yeah, this was actually a fun brawl in my opinion. It ended with they have like a breakaway table. It ended with AJ phenomenal forearming Seth through the table, which looked cool. That looked great. That was the best part of this whole thing. But yeah, that was Raw. My analysis on Raw looks like my sneezing fit has finally gone down. Although I'm all sinusy now. I need to take some medicine after this show, or blow my nose. I don't have any tissues with me. I don't know why I'm thinking out loud, but my analysis and my rating for Raw, I give it like a 3 out of 10. This was the most, honest to God, I'm not even exaggerating. This is one of the most boring Raws I've ever seen. I couldn't even it was so boring. It just kept going on, and I was like, ugh. You know, I just wanted to end so I could go to sleep. I was tired. I was so like not burnt out. I was so checked out during that third hour. Even in that opening, I was triggered that Corbin was put in the match. Yeah, so that was Raw. I guess we'll get on to SmackDown now. And SmackDown was better, although it was kind of still boring. It kind of had some bullshit going on in it. And we'll get to that. So the things that were advertised for this show were Kofi Kingston. What's the word I'm looking for? Just whatever. I don't know. Kofi Kingston talking about Kevin Owens turning on him last week, which was also, yeah, that happened. Kevin Owens turned heel last week, which was the most, excuse me, the most expected heel turn in history, probably. Like, who didn't see that coming, you know? So after that, also what's expected on SmackDown for this episode was Becky Lynch versus Bayley. And the rest of the Money in the Bank participants to be announced. So the show opens. Excuse me. The show opens with Kofi Kingston coming out. Michael Cole's in the ring. He's going to interview Kofi. He comes out, he's throwing pancakes. Crowd's jiving to it. They like it. Here's my problem with this segment. Cole, before Kofi comes out, Cole's hyping him up, and he's going, "Ladies and gentlemen, the new WWE champion, Kofi." And I have one question. How much time has to pass before you're not considered new champion anymore? Because it's been like a month. When was WrestleMania? Yeah, and WrestleMania was in 3 days. WrestleMania would have happened a month ago. So it's been like a month since WrestleMania. And they're still, this was the problem with this segment, they are still recapping this fucking win and his whole, the build up to WrestleMania, him in the gauntlet match and the chamber match. And then the other gauntlet match and the shit New Day had to do to get Kofi in the match at Mania. They're still recapping that. Do you honestly not have enough content to fill out the show that you have to still be recapping this damn stuff? We got it. He won the title. He's the new champion. He beat all odds. 11 years this, 11 years. Even Kofi put the number... Kofi even put 11 years on his tights. If you look closely at his gear, he had the 11 years plastered on his tights. Oh, just what legit. This segment went on for 15 minutes, and it, honest to God, could have went 5. And I'm not. You think I'm exaggerating? You think I'm exaggerating? I'm not exaggerating. It could have went like 5 minutes, but it went 15. What a waste. That time could have went to somebody for matches, qualifying matches for Money in the Bank. Oh, you know, who knows, you know? So he comes out. Cole's like, "What does it feel? What does it feel to be champion? Was this the greatest WrestleMania moment ever?" That's what Cole actually said. Cole was like, "This may be the greatest WrestleMania moment ever." And I'm like, seriously? That's the it's probably up there. It's probably up there. But the greatest ever? I don't know about that one, Chief. But Cole finally gets to Kevin Owens after like 8 minutes. And Cole's like, "Oh, you know, Kevin Owens quite dastardly. You got a target on your back." And Kofi's like, if Kevin Owens wanted a title shot, all he had to do was ask. And doesn't Kofi coming out with all the pancakes, dancing and shit, just a week after Xavier got hurt and he got turned on by Kevin, why is he coming out dancing with pancakes? You know, he should be in full-on serious mode right now. So, I don't know. He's the champion, but he's, I don't know. I don't want to call him a comedy act because he's still serious. When he gets down to it, he's still serious. But Kevin comes out after Kofi challenges Kevin to a match at Money in the Bank for the title. The champion challenging the challenger. And Kevin's like, "I accept, Kofi." And Kevin Owens is like, "Yes, Kofi, you did give everyone a WrestleMania moment they'd never forget. And you won the title on the grandest stage of them all, and it was so great. But moments end. They're fleeting, and now that they saw in a moment. They won't admit it, but the fans don't believe that you're actually championship material. So pretty much this is just a continuation of the Daniel Bryan story that he had with Kofi, where Daniel Bryan kept calling him a B+ player. He's not a real champion, whatever. So, I mean, that's the best they got for Kevin Owens in a feud. Do you know how good Kevin Owens can... Do you know how much potential a Kofi and Kevin Owens feud has? And they're pretty much just rehashing the feud he had with Daniel Bryan. Okay, whatever. I don't care. So, Xavier Woods comes from behind. He starts to attack Kevin. They start brawling. Kevin retaliates and super kicks Xavier in the face. He injures him, kayfabe-wise, I should say. And Kofi runs down the stage. Kevin escapes. That's the end of that segment. 15 minutes too long. Complete waste. Commentary hypes up the Hardy Bros making the announcement about the tag team titles because if nobody knew, Jeff Hardy is injured. Jeff Hardy has sustained a leg injury, and it was rumored that he will have to vacate the titles with Matt. So as we find out, he does later in this show. So Bayley comes out. She makes her entrance. It's going to be Bayley versus Becky Lynch after the commentary. Or commercial commentary. After the commercial. Back from commercial, their sneezes really got to my brain. I'm all over the place now. Kofi and Xavier backstage after commercial, and Kofi's like, you shouldn't have done that, bro. You're hurt from last week's attack or whatever. And it was just kind of a it's their segment, so whatever. So they just announced, by the way, they didn't have any formal announcements. They just kind of announced it throughout the show. The SmackDown participants for Money in the Bank, and Bayley is the first SmackDown entrant in this match, in the women's Money in the Bank, which was fine. That's cool with me. I mean, you could argue that Bayley doesn't deserve to be in the match because she hasn't won shit at all. But you know what? You could say that for anybody else. You could say that for literally anyone else. So qualifiers would have really helped for this fucking match, Like, I mean, I'll run down all of them once it happens, and I'll give my thoughts. So Becky comes out. Becky and Bayley have a stare down, and I thought they actually had a good match. They had some good link ups. Nothing looked like fake. It wasn't like sloppy in my opinion. Everything looked. They have good chemistry, Becky and Bayley, in my opinion. They keep touting this as the first time ever, although they faced off like 5 times in NXT. But they don't count NXT for anything, which is probably why they bury some of the NXT guys coming up. But yeah, I thought this was the best thing on the show. Honestly, I thought Becky versus Bayley was the best thing on the show. It was a fun little match. It wasn't the longest match, but it was still a good match in my opinion. The finish was Bayley went for the flying elbow. Becky got the knees up, and then she immediately put the disarmor on Bayley very fluidly. Tapped out Bayley. 1, 2, 3. Just 1, 2, 3. Tapped out Bayley, submission. Becky wins. Charlotte comes out of nowhere after the match, attacks Bayley and Becky. And that was that. She stood tall. So, yeah. I think I speak for everyone in saying that most people are not excited for Charlotte winning the title again, because it's looking like they're probably going to do that unless they swerve us with a Money in the Bank cash-in. So yeah, after that, Aleister Black is doing a spooky promo backstage. He did this last week. He's in a black room, cutting an ominous spooky promo. He goes, "Fear. It's a powerful, paralyzing tool, and it's in man's nature to fear what we don't understand. My opponents try to figure me out. By the time they think they've got it, I've already got the 3 count. And any hope of conquering that fear has simply left this earth. What happens is they take one look into my eyes, and they don't like the abyss that stares back, because it unveils a truth about themselves that allows them to fade to black." So that was a good promo. I'm enjoying Alistair in this type of. I don't know what they got for him. I really hope they don't mess up Alistair Black. He's a total star, in my opinion. He's got presence. He's got in ring ability. He's good on the mic. I think he's in my opinion, he's kind of a full package. To be honest, in my opinion. Um, After this, the Hardy brothers come out to the ring. Jeff is walking on a crutch. They're there with the SmackDown Tag Team titles. And Jeff says, I'm injured. It's just going to be easier to show you what happened. They run footage from last week and when Lars Sullivan attacked Matt and Jeff. They blamed in kayfabe. In kayfabe, they blamed Jeff's real injury on Lars Sullivan. Now, I can't remember how Jeff actually injured his leg. I think I've read somewhere how it happened, but I can't remember how it happened. So this is not a work, though. This is a legit injury. But they're blaming it on Lars Sullivan. So you know what? That's a positive out of it. At least they're putting over Lars as the one who did it, right? So Matt says, this really sucks, but as of right now, me and Jeff have to vacate the tag titles. Jeff says, I will come back stronger. We will win the titles back. Lars Sullivan interrupts them. He destroys Matt. Jeff has trouble getting out of the ring, and Lars is cornering Jeff. Jeff has his crutch. He's willing to attack Lars with his crutch. But then out of nowhere, as Sullivan is going to destroy Jeff, R-Truth comes from the other corner and hits Lars with a steel chair. Lars no-sells it, and then Lars destroys R-Truth with the running power bomb and the freak accident. That you know what? That segment was fine. I had no problem with that. It sucks obviously that Jeff is injured, and I read that he already had his surgery on his leg. It's a leg injury. He's going to be out for 6 to 9 months, probably more around 9, which is really sucks. Unfortunate, man. Jeff hasn't even been back that long since he came back from injury, like last year. It's been about a year, I think. So it really sucks. They hype up that the main event is the Kevin Owens show with special guest Xavier Woods. So I guess they're trying to tell us that the main event was not even like set up until the night of, which kind of shows a company that doesn't have their shit together when you really think about it. But they hype up that they announced the rest of the men in the Money in the Bank match, the SmackDown side, and this saved the match, in my opinion. The SmackDown superstars in this match. Mustafa Ali, Finn Balor, the Intercontinental Champion, Andrade Cien Almas, and Randy Orton are the last 4 participants. That sounds like a damn good match, to be honest. Ricochet, Braun, Drew McIntyre, Corbin, Randy Orton, Andrade, Finn, and Ali in the match. That sounds like a good match. And I love Money in the Bank, and I'm really excited for my boy Ali to be in there because I'm a huge Ali fan. They announced also that it will be Ali and Finn versus Randy and Andrade in a tag team match, and so yeah, something to be excited about. So after this, Asuka and Kairi Sane come out. They're having a tag team match against who we don't know. The Iconic Duo are on commentary. Asuka and Kairi Sane just faced local competitors. It looked like one of them had red hair, like really red hair, and like I think she was wearing like a green type of attire, like a one piece. So I thought she looked like Poison Ivy. Somebody called her a discount Taylor Hendricks, which was pretty much summed it up. And the other one looked like a knockoff Alicia Fox. So, of course, Asuka and Kairi Sane win. Sane hits the insane elbow, which again is an awesome move. One of the best elbows, in my opinion, in the world. They obviously won. They had some stare downs with the Iconic Duo over at commentary. And here is where I got really annoyed. This is where I got annoyed with this damn show. So backstage, they only have Bayley so far as the first SmackDown competitor in this match. So backstage, it's Sonya and Mandy. And Mandy says, or Sonya, I think it was Sonya actually. It might have, who fucking cares? One of them says that there's 3 spots left in the SmackDown side for the Money in the Bank match, but only one of us can be in it. Only one of us can be in it. Oh, okay. First of all, what? Second of all, how does that work? What do you mean only one of you can be in it? Last I checked, you could just announce that you were in it and nobody would care. Dana Brooke is in the match. What do you mean only one of you has to be in it? Excuse me? How do you decide that? Did somebody tell you that? If management were to say, okay, only one of you can be in it, all right, at least there's an explanation. You might not agree with the explanation, but at least there's an explanation. Mandy's just like, oh, only one of us can be in it. So Mandy's like, I think it should be you, Sonya. Because you're way more skilled. And Sonya says, I see what you're trying to do, but Mandy, I think you should be the one in the match because you almost won the title in the first place and you should finish the job. And then they hug because they're best friends, and the spot goes to Mandy. And I was, at this point, I was livid. I wasn't actually livid, of course, but do you know how many times they've just done nothing with Sonya? Sonya is actually, believe it or not, Sonya is pretty over. She's got a lot of supporters, at least online. I don't even know how to explain it, but like, this show is just so dumb. Is it too much to ask for shit to be explained? Why can only one of them be in this match? Why? It's because they're a tag team? And is there a new rule that if you're in a tag team, only one of you can be in the match? All right. Well, nobody told me that. All they said was only one of us can be in this. I just don't know what the criterion is that you need to fill out to be in this match. Nobody won a qualifying match. They were just in the match. They were just thrown in there. It's just, I'm just sick of this fucking company insulting my intelligence every chance they get. I have no idea what happens on this godforsaken show. I just want stuff to make sense. I just want stuff to be explained. Oh, so yeah, that annoyed me. And of course, it also annoyed me just because I'm actually a big fan of Sonya. I want to see her do more. I can't remember the last time she wrestled a match. I just want to see her do more. There's no reason, in my opinion, that Sonya should be playing second fiddle to Mandy. You know, and I have nothing against Mandy. I actually think Mandy gets a lot more hate than she deserves. You know, I think Mandy's got potential, but in kayfabe, at least in kayfabe, Mandy already had her chance at the women's title and she failed. Right? That's my opinion. Right? She already had her chance at the title. Let Sonya get a new opportunity. For as much, you know, for a show they call the land of opportunity all the fucking time, it sure does seem like a lot of the same people keep getting the same opportunities. You know what I mean? New fresh matchups, new changes with the Superstar Shakeup, but Mandy's in the match instead of Sonya. And Dana Brooke, well, at least Dana Brooke worked her ass off and never complained and always worked hard, and she's in the match. You know what? I don't have a problem with Dana Brooke being in that match anymore. I really don't. Because she's a workhorse. You can debate on whether she's good enough, quote unquote, but she works hard. She trains all the time. She's fit as a flea. She never complains too often. She tries her best. And it's a new person getting a new opportunity, which is exactly what everybody has been wanting. So that's fine with me. But Sonya should be in this damn match over Mandy, in my opinion. I'm sick of Sonya getting passed up. Call me biased or whatever, but Even kayfabe-wise, Sonya has a claim to be in this match over Mandy. Mandy already had her chance. That's my opinion. So, after that, Roman comes out, and they hyped up, quote unquote. They announced on Twitter, and during the show for that matter, will Roman Reigns face consequences for what he did? What will he will he be in trouble? Is what they're trying to say, and turns out that was last week. Turns out nothing happened. It was just kind of Shane feuding with Roman now. So Roman comes out, just I'm already annoyed with Roman being on SmackDown. This could have been a new beginning. This could have been a new clean slate. Let's just put all that shit on Raw behind us, all that botched pushes and stuff. Let's put all that behind us. SmackDown, Roman's going to be the new top guy. Clean slate. You know what? You can establish him all you want. You can throw everything in the garbage for all I care. But in classic WWE fashion, Roman's first feud on this fucking show is an authority figure. Okay, so Shane comes out after Roman comes out. Or Roman, first of all, goes, SmackDown's my yard now. I punched Vince McMahon because I wanted to get the point across that I am the big dog and this is my yard now. Shane McMahon came out. Greg Hamilton announced him for the longest time, which is filler, by the way. Shane says, Roman, this may be your yard, but the McMahons own the land. Roman says, no, your daddy owns the land, which is actually a good line because it's true. Roman says, when you and I were in the ring together, I was on my feet, and McMahon was on his back. And Shane says, we all know that you knocked a national treasure to the ground, but it was you who was face down last week, which was what happened last week. Elias and Shane attacked Roman, and they stood tall last week. Announced Elias versus Roman for Money in the Bank. That happened last week, though. I'm just giving it a little bit since I missed a show last week. So Roman said, you had the help of Elias, and he says, can you actually beat me up one-on-one without any help? And Shane is like, no, I don't got time right now. I got to fly to Michigan and see Coach Harbaugh, because they were in, I think they were in Ohio State for the SmackDown. So, of course, he's the coach of Michigan football. So that was some cheap heat, right? The crowd did not like that at all. And Shane says, Roman, if you want to fight, there are lots of guys in the back looking for a fight. Now send two of them out. And the B team came out. Oh, yes. The B team are now on SmackDown, everyone. So screw Superstar Shakeup and only being a 2-show deal. It's still going on, right? B team are just on the show. No explanation, by the way. So Shane says B team also want to make a great first impression. So Roman, you will be wrestling both of them in a handicap match. And Reigns himself. This is what's funny about this. Roman Reigns himself goes, how original. That's what I'm thinking, you know? How many times have we seen Roman and an authority figure feuds where he was thrown in a handicap match or whatever? How original, huh? Low ratings, how creative. So Roman says, what's next? A blindfold or a hand tied behind my back? And Shane goes, yeah, that's right. We actually do need something extra, like a special guest referee enforcer, which doesn't make sense. It's either one or the other. You know, it's either a referee or an enforcer. So Elias comes out wearing the striped shirt, which means he's the special guest enforcer. So effectively, it's a 3-on-1 handicap match. So I know it was effectively a 3-on-1 handicap match, but if you ask me, this match should not have been as long as it was. Now, granted, the crowd was into it. The crowd was enjoying it, but this match should not have lasted so long. It should have been at most like, I don't even know, 6 or 7 minutes. Roman sold the whole time to rest holds. It's a 2-on-1 handicap match, and the B team are putting on rest holds. What the fuck is their problem? Have they learned anything? So, of course, Roman, and Elias is attacking Roman the whole time outside the ring with the referee's back turned. And I don't know why the ref. Is it just me, or did it not make sense that the referee's back had to be turned when Elias would attack? Because, you know, Elias is still technically an enforcer, a referee, right? In the words of Shane McMahon, a referee enforcer. So he's legal. Isn't he legal? He's not like, he's part of the match. He can attack him all he wants, in my opinion. Referees have attacked wrestlers before. They're not going to DQ themselves. So, oh, my throat's hurting. This match was whatever. Roman powered through, of course. He beat down everyone. He hit the spear on Curtis Axel. The referee counted 3 after Elias and was disposed of. So, you know, whatever. That was fine. It just shouldn't have been that long, in my opinion. They showed the Firefly Funhouse segment again. After that, it's Finn and Ali versus Andrade and Randy Orton. And this match was fine, I thought. It wasn't too long, but who got the pin? Oh yeah, it was Ali. They did some fun. Finn and Ali both dove out of the ring at the same time, which led to some fun action. Ali hit the 450 on Andrade and won the match. So and then after the match, Orton came out of nowhere with an RKO onto Finn. Randy tried to do the same to Ali, but Ali knocked Randy out of the ring with some kicks, and Ali, of all people, stood tall, and he went up to the top and pointed at the briefcase hanging above the ring. So that was fine. I had no problem with that. So after that, it goes backstage to interviewer girl. Can't remember her name. I think it's actually, yeah, it's Sarah Schreiber is her name. She's new to the company, I think. She's been like here for a couple months, maybe. I think she's in NXT as well. I don't know. So backstage, she announces the last 2 competitors for the women's Money in the Bank. Ember Moon comes from one of the sides. Ember Moon is one of the women, which I'm fine with being in the match. She says she's going to climb the ladder and win. How original. Carmella comes up then and announces she's also in the match. And I'm going to win a 3rd time no matter what it takes. Because, you know, they count Carmella as winning the first ever, but it was James Ellsworth who won the first ever. A man won the first ever women's Money in the Bank. I don't give a fuck what you say. I will never let them live that down. Ever. Because, you know, women's revolution this, women's revolution that, and you have a man unhook the briefcase in the first ever women's match with some hokey shit. Yeah. So, yeah, you know what? I was going to rant again about Carmella being in the match, because Carmella is pretty much just a jobber. You know, I don't see why she gets to be in it, but then again, a lot of the people in this match, when you really look at it, don't quote unquote deserve quote unquote to be in the match. According to the WWE universe, everyone deserves everything. Whenever you win a championship, you deserve it, right? If a jobber wins the title, you deserve it. Why do you deserve it? Just because you show up to work? You know? If everyone deserves it, no one deserves it. So Kevin Owens comes out for the Kevin Owens show. As far as Kevin Owens segments go, this was boring, and I didn't really do much for me. And he was talking about how he's going to take the title from Kofi. He asks for Xavier to come out. So Kevin's like, I got a plan B. He pulls out an Xavier Woods action figure out of his pants. He sets it down on the chair next to him. He starts talking to it. And he says, one of the many, many pieces of crap merchandise New Day have been shilling for years, which is a funny line. Not gonna lie, though, I really didn't pay attention to this segment that much because nothing ever happened. It was, again, like the Sami Zayn segment where a whole lot of words were spoken, but not a whole lot was said. So it's just kind of there. And then he pulled out a Kofi action figure, or I'm sorry, a Big E action figure with his left leg wrapped up with like tape or whatever because Big E was injured, of course, which was a funny touch. That was funny. And then Kofi came out after finally Kofi came out. Kofi and Kevin started brawling with each other all up and down the ring. Kofi threw Kevin like into the table. Threw him over the table, I should say, and threw a chair at him. And Kevin retreated after eventually more brawling. So Kofi stood tall on this show. That was the end of the show. It was meh, it was fine, I guess. SmackDown was okay, I guess. Nothing. It wasn't as boring as Raw, but nothing really happened except for me being triggered that Sonya wasn't in the match and that they just announced who was in the match. Nobody earns anything anymore. You're just thrown in there. You're not even thrown in there by somebody who runs the show, who just announced. Like, who's making the decisions? Is it Hornswoggle? Is it... Yeah, it wasn't Hornswoggle, the anonymous Raw GM, it turns out. Eventually, I think they teased for a while that it was Stone Cold. I think that was the anonymous Raw GM. But I think it actually turned out to be Hornswoggle. I could be wrong on that. I don't fucking know. So yeah, that's SmackDown and Raw. I think SmackDown beats Raw this week in terms of enjoyment, just kind of by default because Raw was so lame. But in other wrestling-related news, WWE announced officially that WWE will be returning to Jeddah, Saudi Arabia, June 7th, Friday. And they announced that Goldberg will be coming back. Not for this show. I mean, yeah, for that show, but they haven't announced that. All they did was say Goldberg's coming back. So, boy, I wonder what he's going to do. It's totally not going to be on that Saudi Arabia show. So, yeah, they, who gives a fuck about the Saudi Arabia show? I'm not going to watch it. They announced for advertising, WWE didn't announce this, but for advertising for the show, some advertised names for the show in Saudi Arabia: Goldberg, The Undertaker, and Brock Lesnar. That's right, Brock Lesnar. So, all I have to hope, I'm going to pray that Brock Lesnar is not put in a title match and does not win. That is what I hope for. If he wins, if he wins the title, I swear to God, I will legitimately stop watching Raw and SmackDown. And if you think I'm joking, I'm not joking. I'm serious. I'm already at the moment thinking about stopping watching Raw and SmackDown. I'm already thinking about that. I'm at the point now where I'm so checked out of Raw and SmackDown where I could stop watching, but I continue to watch because I'm a fan. But if there would have to be a few scenarios to play out that would actually get me to stop watching. That would be one of them. Brock winning the title again. So, yeah, they're going back to Saudi Arabia. Let's hope Brock Lesnar doesn't win the title. Jeff Hardy underwent successful knee surgery. Good to hear. Can't wait till he comes back. And also, last Sunday, I think it was. Well, it wasn't last Sunday, but last week. Vince McMahon made some comments during an investors call, and it was during an investors call. He was explaining the low ratings for Raw and SmackDown, and I shit you not, Vince McMahon blamed the low ratings on lack of talent. I don't know. I don't know if Vince has been watching the show or not, or has even been paying attention to who works for his company. But WWE, and it's not even debatable, WWE has the most stacked roster in wrestling history. It's not a lack of talent. He said we had a very unusual situation in terms of top talents as well as mid-card talents being out. Some 15 talents were out during the course of that period, talking about his that time period where they lost money, like the quarterly earnings and whatnot. When you don't have talent, you don't have storylines. When you don't have storylines, you're not going to do that well in terms of live events and television ratings. It was like a cascade of things that happened. Yeah, you're right. I must have. They're blaming. They are actually trying to blame their low ratings on the fact that Roman Reigns was out with cancer for only 4 months and John Cena was out. What did I expect? What did I expect? But, business is business. This is the total political answer. He didn't want to actually admit that the low ratings and low live event numbers was because of his incompetent fucking creative and writing team and his own incompetent writing and creative. Vince is very much to blame for this. It's not a lack of talent. They have the best wrestlers on the planet signed to this company. It's not a lack of talent. Nobody really is shocked by this. He's said things like this in the past. Actually, for the first time in a while, I've noticed that, I really have noticed that, people are really talking about the lack of ratings for Raw and SmackDown. So the ratings are horrible right now. They're terrible. And people can go on and on all they want about how much ratings don't matter. They do. Ratings matter. And they also go, well, you're a fan. Why do the ratings matter to you? I'll tell you why the ratings matter to me, a fan. If I'm just a fan, I'll tell you why the ratings matter. When the show has shit ratings, the TV channel, I should say, the channel that the show is on is not going to want to have a show with shit ratings on it anymore. That forces them to step up their game so they don't get dropped from their channel. Nobody wants a show with shit ratings. Now, I'm not saying that WWE and Raw and SmackDown are going to be dropped from, obviously, Fox. Obviously, SmackDown and WWE signed a deal for like $500 million over 5 years. So obviously SmackDown ain't gonna drop. But Raw, you know what? Nobody wants a shit show that has shit ratings. Eventually, the ratings will be so low that they'll be like, "Why the fuck are we even having this show?" You know what I mean? Like, and at this rate, they're gonna keep losing ratings. They're gonna keep losing viewers. Low ratings do mean a lot. I can't even believe people think that ratings don't mean anything. Oh, so you're telling me it doesn't matter that more and more and more viewers are tuning out of the show more than ever? The viewers and the fans are tuning out. That means a lot. You can't tell me that doesn't mean anything. Like, that's kind of that's stupid. Only a WWE apologist, or I'm not going to say the word shill because that's stupid, but a hardcore WWE defender would try to pull the wool over your eyes and say that ratings don't matter. Oh, we got internet views and blah, 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 but it's on TV. The TV matters. So, and I'm not even claiming to know a lot about TV, but all I know is that a TV channel would not want a shit show with shit ratings eventually. These ratings are going to be so bad eventually. Year over year, they're losing 1 million a year. At this point last year, it was like 2.8 million in the third hour of Raw. This point now, 1.8 million. It's dropping like by 1 million every year. That's absurd to me. It's absurd to me that a show and a company with the most money on the planet, the most money in history for a wrestling company ever. And I don't even think it comes close. The most money in history, the most talent in history on one roster, TV deals that are legit good, legit TV deals. So much exposure everywhere, great marketing team, so much promotion, just loyal hardcore fans. I mean, I know I said fans are tweeting out, but they got loyal and hardcore fans that are willing to stick with this. And yet here they are with shit shows, non-creative shows, boring, lackluster. I don't even know how that's possible. It's so sad to me. I want to see this show do good. I grew up watching this. I love these wrestlers. I admire them. I appreciate them. I respect them, and I want to see them do good. I want to see them succeed on a show that's good. This show, though, Raw and SmackDown, they really got to step up their game. Especially as Fox ain't gonna put up with this shit. The money Fox is paying for this show, like SmackDown is doing horrible numbers. They're not going to put up with SmackDown having horrible numbers if they're putting up that amount of money. You know, that's why ratings matter. So that leads me to my final point of this episode before we call it quits. I've been having discussions lately with Eric of the show, and I've been thinking about stopping this show. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, you know, I know only a handful of people watch it, and only like what at most like 10 people watch it an episode, maybe 15 people at a good day. So yeah, we thought about stopping the show. We don't know if we're going to continue it. I think we'll see where it goes, because again, I'm already thinking about I'm probably not going to do it unless something bad happens, but I did think about not watching Raw and SmackDown anymore and taking a break, but we'll see where that leads. I know Eric isn't probably going to do the weekly shows anymore, the weekly Raw and SmackDown reviews, because he doesn't have TV. He can't watch it. So I could still do solo shows weekly. He could show up for pay-per-views. He does have internet. He'll watch the pay-per-views and stuff. And yeah, I'll probably continue for the most part to do solo shows. Maybe I could get my friend Don on here, who's been on the show before, an honorary fortune teller. Maybe I could get him on for a show or two. I don't know if he even wants to. He doesn't watch Raw and SmackDown weekly either, like I do. But we'll see what happens. I doubt that it'll end in like just the next week or two. It probably won't. So we'll see what happens. That just about does it for our show. It's been good. My throat's killing me right now. I need to take some allergy medicine so I don't go on a sneezing fit like I did earlier in the show. And yeah, that's about it. I think I'm just dragging on at the moment. Yeah, I'll see you next week, I guess. Should I actually? Did they announce anything for SmackDown? I think they did, but I've already said goodbye. So I'll see you on our review of Raw and SmackDown for next week. Stay tuned and goodbye, everyone.